Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance still coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Picking Up the Pieces and kind of an update from yesterday's podcast, live stream that, well, it was on YouTube, it was on Twitch, and it's been uploaded as a podcast. And it is global. Okay. What's going on, Spirit Wolf? Welcome to the live stream, my good friend. Hoping we get quite a few people to slide in here tonight because this one's going to be big. Okay. Want to talk about that podcast interview from yesterday here in just a few. I want to continue to thank Spaz Baby for, for doing the interview. She did an amazing job. I felt very comfortable. She did ask some tough questions, and was about to ask some tough questions, but someone jumped the gun a little bit. The reviews have been very positive. Okay. We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. And I know a lot of folks are curious how it all went. So we're going to try to nail that down. Bear with me. The weather is, I think it's still pretty, but it is a little frightful, I guess you could say. We have rainy weather like you wouldn't believe. And I got a kitty cat on the balcony. We're going to talk about, kind of what we might be able to expect in the aftermath. Not sure. I haven't heard anything from Princess Faye yet. But we're going to talk a little bit about what we can kind of expect from the entire thing. You know. Zess Shamus. Okay, Zess, welcome to the live stream. I hope I got that correct. I do apologize. Some of y'all come in here with names that's sometimes a little difficult to pronounce. So I apologize if I mess it up, okay? But welcome to the live stream. And make yourself right at home with all the folks in blue. Kind of a heads up, this is a pretty chill stream. We're just kind of talking about the events of everything that's happened. The podcast was with a very popular YouTuber called Spaz Baby. You can actually catch, she live streamed it directly to YouTube and, of course, recorded it and uploaded it to her podcast afterwards. Of course, I believe we were also live as well. Random stuff. Okay. Fair enough. Hang on a second. Let's get a little villain light going on here. But in a nutshell, that entire thing is up on her YouTube channel for everyone to pretty well see. It's really exciting. She did an amazing job, really kind of nailing it down as an interviewer. I've always known her as being a very prominent gamer. Her favorite game is Dead by Daylight, and it was just phenomenal. She's always put on a good show. The way she rages is actually really hilarious. But I think every gamer should have a special way that they rage, and she has her own, and it's actually really freaking cool. I really like how she does it. But mostly she's over on Twitch, but she does have a podcast where she uploads interviews and things like that from time to time. So, but you can't get over to Spaz Babies, live the playback. What's going on, Queen? Welcome to the live. Good to see you. So we did that big live stream yesterday. It was really exciting. So if you guys haven't checked it out, I definitely suggest it. She did an amazing job interviewing me, and it was just chilling out. Awesome. Um, but we're going to kind of tackle, what it was like and kind of what we can expect from the aftermath of it. Okay. So the first thing that I know a lot of you folks are going to ask, how's it going back to work? What's it like? I know it's there, because but it's you can get it to her through her YouTube channel. Um, what's going on, Zero? The way she, Spaz, capital Spazz, and then baby is spelled kind of differently, so that may be why you're having a hard time finding it. I don't have a link, but I know someone can grab it. So hang tight. If someone can grab the link from yesterday's live stream over on Spaz's channel and drop it in the chat. Oh, you're on her YouTube? It should be there. But I know she uploaded right afterwards, and it's had positive reviews. So she uploaded it to like the Apple and Spotify and everything else. Um, but I know it's there. Something like season 2, episode 5. It should be there. But so you found it. Okay, there it is. Um, so it was really kind of exciting. I've done interviews before where I've been interviewed on other people's channels. Um, yeah, she's still looking for Galaxy. So if you guys have not had a chance to check out the interview, definitely do it. About an hour and a half long, but it was probably about an hour and a half of really, really getting the nose to the grindstone, which I'm probably going to grab the link. Yeah, she needs to be careful up there, but it's Zelda. You ain't getting that cat to be careful on anything. Zelda just does Zelda. So let's get down to brass tacks. Yeah. All right. Yesterday we talked about a lot of the stuff that we've already talked about over here. Okay. So what can we expect from the? Yeah, she's still the baby. She might still be the baby, but she don't act like no baby. Well, since you go by random stuff, I will tell you that sometimes that happens here on YouTube. That's a commonplace thing. So if you watch a lot of the big name YouTubers, if you watch a lot of their channels, you're more likely to get their notifications before you will mine. Even though I'm, of pretty good size, it's hard nowadays for a YouTube channel to get to that 1K marker. But unless you're up around 3,000, if you're 3,000 or more, they're going to push you more towards the forefront. Okay. So that's just kind of one of those things. There are some channels out there that I honestly believe that are, in some ways are even better than mine, and they don't have the numbers that I have. Okay. So that's just kind of one of those oddball algorithm BS things. Now, I can tell you that we've had one where we've had 1,000 views on. What's going on, Chairman? We do have a recent one that I've gotten 1,000 views on, and it's still going up a little by little. If you want to get caught up with a lot of the news, what happened with my wife and everything, I've got a playlist up of like the important ones that you really need to focus on that social media needs the most, called, kind of picking up the pieces specials. Okay. And this one will also be added too. Yeah. Spirit Wolf was in the podcast yesterday. So there was a lot to talk about. We went over a lot of the stuff, including my one big screw up in the marriage, and including some stuff that just wasn't talked about a whole lot. We even, I even told a story of, doing something special for Princess Faye and stuff like that. Did all that stuff. So a lot of the story, a lot of our story is out. Okay. Again, I did not know what Spaz was going to be like during her interview. She's got kind of like a country way of doing it, and I think that really will speak to the masses, the kind of the country way that she does things. And it was really exciting how she did it. So hands down, bar none, your kind of your country bumpkin way, it really put me at ease, Spaz. I can't thank you enough for doing that. I don't know if that's a commonplace thing that you do, but just the way you carried yourself, it made things really, really easy to do the interview. Because sometimes I can get so overspoken that the message is sometimes lost. So the way that you did it, it really kind of brought me in a way that made things easy. So now that we kind of covered that, what can we expect from this interview? Now, because names were implicated in this interview, and this is global now, more global than it is here on this channel. So because it's more global than ever before, we can expect that Princess Faye does not have a job. She will not be able to afford the car that she's in. So the clock is ticking now because she's not going to be able to afford that. The second thing that we can expect, the same with her mom. They got car payments. It's about to get tougher for them. And because for the area, it's still considered kind of a small town. It'd be where they live in Beaverton, Beaverton, Oregon. I've seen a lot of the pictures and everything of what the town looks like, and it's a good-sized town, okay? It would be very similar to Cape Girardeau here in Missouri, and that's considered a somewhat major hub here in Missouri. Not quite as big as St. Louis or Springfield, Missouri, or Kansas City, Missouri, but pretty good size. I would definitely equate it in that ballpark area, of that size. But to them, because of the populace being so close to the coast, it's considered a small town still. Actually, the best way I could put it, a more grown-up version of, say, somewhere like Washington, Missouri. A lot more grown-up than that, but in that kind of category. And that's a good way of putting it. But people talk up there, and news travels fast. So now their police department is the laughing stock, okay? And they're going to want to clear this up. So the pressure is going to be on. They're going to have to clear this up some way, somehow. What's going on, Carla? So I'm hanging in there. Kind of talking about yesterday's interview over on Spaz Baby's channel. Now, primarily it's video games that she does over there on her channel, but she did a StreamYards interview with me that's also been uploaded to a global podcast, okay? Now, how connected is this podcast? Strap yourself in. This is connected. There are people inside the mainstream media that might be picking up this story. I don't know. It's hard to say yet. They could pick up this story. If somebody could grab the link to yesterday's, because we didn't stream it over here at all. I was not live at all yesterday. If someone has a moment, can grab that link and drop it in the chat from Spaz's channel, would be a big help. One of our folks that was there yesterday. So, thank you, Spirit Wolfian. That was the because we were live on YouTube for it, but then it was recorded at the same time for the podcast. So that has been uploaded. There's already positive reviews on that podcast. A lot of folks going, this has to stop. Something needs to be done. Something serious has to happen because this woman's going to lose her life to drugs and alcohol and mental illness. So what can we expect from this? Okay, Princess Faye, you might as well say, does not have a job. Walmart doesn't want that type of people, and considering the pretenses of all of this, they don't want her working there, so she does not have a job. Okay? Along with that, her mom working in the same place, same thing. The guy who was giving her the drugs, or that Princess Faye was purchasing from, I don't know all the details there. He probably doesn't have a job. So there's a lot of information now out about this. Now, because her parents have been implicated in this, her father probably does not have a job with Comcast anymore, okay? He probably doesn't have a job with Comcast because his, what he did to my wife is now out in the open. Oh, thank you so much, Zero. Spaz is an amazing friend. When she got wind of this story, she's like, we got to do something. We do not want, Princess Faye to be one of those YouTube statistics, one of those content creator statistics that we hear about, their life coming to a close. And because her sister was involved, Comcast will probably not want her sister working with them either. There's an excellent chance that her entire family is now on the unemployment line, and Princess Faye's options are very limited right now because the rest of the family does not want to be implicated in this. So her extended family, especially her uncle who works in law enforcement down in Texas, definitely doesn't want to be involved. So now all of the people that were enabling her before are now cut off. Okay? They're cut off. The clock is now ticking. Now, who's going to break first? Okay, that's the question. Is Princess Faye's family going to say, here's some money, go back home? Or is it going to be Princess Faye saying, I need to go back home? You're probably right, but considering the situation and how the story is being taken, Mary, there's an excellent chance. Now, that's not saying that they will, but you're somewhat right, okay? I wouldn't say I'm necessarily out of touch on that. It's just that in this particular case, they may, considering the situation. You got to remember, they love those stories of tragedy. So they're going to grab them, and they're going to try to follow up on them. Because personal stories like this, a lot of times take the heat off of, it's more than just talking about the political sense. To give you an idea, news coverage on a car accident that involved the death of a child a few years back, and the child belonged to an Amish family. That was big news for a moment because of the tragedy of it, okay? So little stories like that, a lot of times they try to pick up on to supplement what they're already doing. So big media outlets will try to pick up on little stories like that. The reason being is because if they don't want to just talk about what's going on in the political scene, it's more than that. And they don't want to just talk about, so they're going to use it as a supplement. So it'd be kind of one of those stories that you might see somewhere that sometimes almost gets lost amongst the other big story, the big stories, if you will. And stories like this on YouTube do make headlines, if you will, in media. So this is kind of big. And because it involves, a police agency not paying attention to mental illness, and mental illness being more and more at the forefront than ever before, they're going to grab onto it. Or at least run it in a way where people can still kind of see it, okay? I can't divulge the information on their jobs though, but I can't divulge all of my information, but to my knowledge, they're on the unemployment line. To my knowledge, that's I can't give any more than what I already know on that. I can only tell you what I've been told. Okay, so that is where that stands. And because if Princess Faye does not contact me soon, there is talk of a follow up interview. Okay. So there is already talk of that. Now, whether or not that comes to light, we don't know. Okay. But just kind of bear with me on that. There may be talk of another one to follow it up. So we did do the interview yesterday. It was well received. Okay. But I wouldn't, again, I can't divulge all of my information, but companies were notified, hey, this is going public. Do you want these folks working here? Okay. Because you're going to be implicated in this. And y'all, again, have to remember the Freedom of Information Act. Most of the information that goes far beyond the scope of this channel was found in less than 15 minutes. So this is bigger than the Prince Magnum channel. Case closed on that. Okay, this is much bigger than our channel here. We're a little fish in the water in this. And again, I want to reiterate, okay, that when this story started coming to light to larger content creators, immediately the outcry was this has to stop. Because regardless of what Princess Faye might think, she is, without a question, a major key ingredient to the content creation of this channel. Okay, I might be at the forefront, but she did a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and a lot of stuff that a lot of folks were even fully aware of that happened behind the scenes. So the clock is ticking. The heat is on, much bigger than I could have brought on by myself. So, what are we talking about at this stage of the game? With this sort of heat, obviously Princess Faye is not going to be able to keep the car. She's going to lose that. It's going to get really bad. So the question is, how long can she hold out before she comes home? Now, again, I want to stress, as I did in the podcast, the front door is still open for her, okay? And this is not a matter of, I'm going to get back at you and control your life. This is a matter of, I want you home, let's get you fixed, and if you still want to strike it out on your own, I can understand that. I would have proper closure at that point, okay? Not this bullshit that you're on drugs and, you're out of your head with mental illness. It's about making sure that you are properly taken care of, and if you want to take off after that, I can completely and totally understand. No matter how my wife might feel, you have to understand, okay? And that's a good question, and I'm glad you asked that. Thank you for asking that question. This is not a matter of, okay, let me better explain it this way. It's one thing, it's one thing if a person needs to heal those mental wounds, okay? It's one thing if a person wants to heal mental wounds. But here's the thing, okay? A lot of us are programmed to self-destruct on our own. I am one of those folks that if it had not been for the people that stepped in and helped me and not let me go it alone, I wouldn't be here today, okay? And it was actually, a friend of mine, and we've told the story before. So I'm not intentionally trying to make her life harder. I'm trying to intentionally disconnect her from the folks that are trying to hurt her. You've got to remember, her father did sexually assault her at the age of 14. Her mother was mentally abusive. Her sister does a lot of crazy drugs. God only knows what she's gotten into since she's been back with that family. So, considering the situation, her father has already sexually assaulted her before, and we've already talked about that. How long before it happens again? So, there is no chance of actually healing where she's at now. So, do I turn a blind eye and say, screw it? Or do I do my part and protect her? I didn't put the ring on just because I thought it was a good idea. I put it on because I was real. I was real because I do love her. I take those vows very seriously. You have to understand those vows that I took, I didn't take lightly. I didn't just, walk in there and go, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay? I meant it. Would someone take care of that dumbass? By the way, using my real name like that, um, thank you for taking care of that. Um, the authorities didn't get involved because it was never reported until recently. Now, due to the statute of limitation in Oregon, he can be prosecuted from now until Princess Faye turns 40. Okay? Now, they say that it has to be her that prosecutes. However, considering her mental illness, I can press charges because I'm still legally married to her, which they basically want to ignore that up there. I can legally press charges because of the fact that I still live in Missouri. So, because I still live in Missouri, and marriage laws here in the United States cross state lines, basically making them federal laws, I can still prosecute. So, what applies in Missouri as far as law still applies in Oregon. So, regardless, yeah, you might as well say that, Zero. It is child protective services are a joke here in the States, plain and simple. So, regardless of the situation, I am trying, but they're just not listening. So, yes, by Oregon law, considering where it happened, and it's just it's a joke. It's a joke to them. But legally, I can press charges. So, Beaverton, Oregon Police Department, I legally can press charges, and I want him arrested. He needs to face charges for his crime. My wife told me on numerous occasions I have no reason to not believe her. So if she lied about it, then there's a whole nother ball game. Okay? If she lied about something like that, then we're dealing with more issues with mental health, which means that you again still failed your job. Protect and serve. Protect and serve. Absolutely zero. Doesn't surprise me. So, again, we're discussing the fact that Princess Faye, to answer the question, I'm not intentionally trying to make it harder for her. I'm just trying to cut her off from the people who are trying to hurt her. Okay? Plain and simple. That's the way it works. Absolutely. No, that's a good question. That's a good question, Retro. Um, she may be in that position where she may not be able to process it, but I know Princess Faye well enough in the state of mind that she would currently be in right now. She would be able to process to the point where it's like, this is bigger than even him. This is serious. I might want to listen, sort of thing. So at that particular juncture, at some point, common, I gotta be, I want to be careful because, even common sense nowadays is, misunderstood. I would say that even right now, Princess Faye is in a frame enough mind where she would be able to recognize the situation enough that coming home would, she knows, would be in her best interest at this point. Because with the help of the, with me working the way that I'm working 6 days a week. Okay. And being that I'm working 6 days a week, and then at the same time, not only am I working 6 days a week, putting in overtime and everything else, between the help of what we already get from the channel and everything, we would be able to make the bills and she would be able to keep the car. Would she be in the frame of mind to be able to use the car? Probably not. As a matter of fact, I pay the insurance on the car for the next month. So in case she does decide to, come home before all of this, before this gets too terribly bad, she'll be able to come home with no problem. But if she doesn't come home, she's going to have a harder time getting home. I have not heard anything yet, but that doesn't mean that we won't yet. I've got my feelings and theories, but it's all speculation still at this point because we are again dealing with mental health. Her family may be trying to figure out what they're going to do next, considering the situation, but at the same time, it may be to that stage where, there's probably a lot of boo-hooing going on right now. Okay. So the question remains, how long before she gets, my wife's hard headed, really, is the best way to put it. So at this point, is she being hard headed, you know? Same here. I have my own mental, I think we all do. But I come from a time frame when we have not spoken yet, but I have a good feeling. Okay. And I know I'm going to present it to her. This is bigger than me now. Okay. I turned it over to the larger content creators. You've got a couple options. Come home. Come home, or the ravages of this is going to continue. And I won't be able to help you at a certain point. I can help you now, but your options are limited. So that is where it stands. So that is where we're at. Her options are limited, but at least she stands a chance with the options that are available to her. She's probably very angry, but again, I want to reiterate, if I didn't love her, I wouldn't go through all this. Okay? I do love her. I love her very much. I mean what I say. Okay? I do love my wife so much that I would go through hell and high water for her. And in a lot of ways, I guess you could say I really am, you know. So, where it stands right now, this is bigger than her. So, her options are limited. Okay. So, I appreciate the question. Again, I want to reiterate, this is not out of maliciousness. I am not being malicious. Um, this is a matter of saving her life. If I didn't love her, I wouldn't do it. I would tell you straight up, she left. On to the next. But I do love her. And I would go through anything I had to make sure she was okay. So as it stands right now, that's what we're waiting to hear. So it's big, it's broad, and it's just a matter of time. All right. I'm hoping to hear from her soon. So that's fair, retro. I think a lot of us had to go. I'm gonna reiterate something that maybe hasn't been said enough on this channel, and I apologize for not saying it. If we didn't go through what we go through or went through, would we be who we are today? And the answer to that is no, we wouldn't be. If we didn't go through what we go through, we wouldn't be who we are today. And who we are is actually pretty freaking awesome. And there's a lot of you out there that I've had the opportunity to rub elbows with in the content creator community. You guys got amazing stories. You're awesome to hang with. And I I'm grateful that I know you guys. And some of you I continue to rub elbows with. It's freaking awesome. You know, it's freaking awesome. You guys are the true legends. Okay. I'm just sometimes the guy that says what everybody's thinking. And that's the truth of it. This is big. This is, you know, retro. Sometime you and I need to hang out and we need to have a talk. Okay. It sounds to me like you and I need to have a big talk. I honestly, I think we need to do it again. We might look at, if all goes well tomorrow, we might have that. We might do a supplemental on, on sober talk, kind of a special, kind of reiterating some things that we've already talked about. But we'll do it again, maybe just for you. Okay. We might just have to do that. If y'all are down for that, I would love to do a special stream for you guys talking about mental illness. Uh, Maybe we need to do one just specifically for mental illness for those of you that have went through some stuff. Okay, um, you know, and that way, maybe you guys might have a little bit more than you walk away from. Okay, so Spirit Wolf, you are awesome, man. But we got a lot of ground to cover. Um, you know, and we're gonna keep doing a lot of stuff that we're doing. I don't have any reason to do any serious cooking right now, so there's really no content there. But I know at some point we're gonna start uploading content that I've been saving up because I'm tired. Work is beating my butt. This is big. I don't know how much bigger it's going to get, but I know it's probably going to get bigger because I know a lot of content creators don't want to see Princess Faye become a YouTube statistic. So, um, there's really not a whole lot much more to talk about from here other than it was an amazing, amazing interview yesterday. I want to thank Spaz Baby again from the bottom of my heart for doing that interview. We hope to hear from Princess Faye soon. Um, Phone lines are open, honey. You're welcome to call. I'm really, I'm not mad. And you can even cuss me out. And I still won't be mad. I might be hurt. I might cry a little bit because, I still love you. But I will tell you all right now, she's listening. Phone is open. You're welcome to call. I'll be glad to listen. I still love you every night. Well, we don't know how big it's going to get, but we're hoping that it gets big enough that no one can ignore it anymore. But to answer the question, I still every night kiss her good night. I still keep her ring right in front of our wedding picture. Well, in front of our, it's not our wedding picture. We were married like 3 years by the time that picture was taken. Um, I still got it. I'm still, well, almost 3 years. We were coming up on our 3 year anniversary at this time. But every night I kiss her before I go to bed. Still kiss her and tell her I still love her every night before I go to bed. Every morning I look at her picture, I'm going to work, honey. I still love you. Every night. That was actually talked about in the interview yesterday. Folks, I have no reason to lie about that stuff. I still love that woman. I love her with all my heart. She is still my one and only. I can't imagine life without her. This world needs Princess Faye. The world needs Princess Faye more than they even need me. If that's any indication how much I love that woman. The world deserves her. Every night. I've not given up hope of getting her home and getting her safe. I haven't given up hope. She is still my one and only. And if she wasn't, I wouldn't care. I would have already moved on. I'm not interested in anyone else but her. So there we are. Continue to watch that playlist. Continue to get the word out. Keep sharing it to everyone you know. I don't care what country you're in. I don't care if you're on the back of a yak in Kathmandu watching this live stream. Continue to share it out to everyone you know. The more people that know, the more the word gets out, the less it can be ignored. And my wife doesn't have to be another one of those YouTube statistics. She deserves so much more. So now that we've reached a good stopping point for the evening, again, you guys are the legends of my story. You guys are the legends. You. Absolutely, Retro. You know, before I give you guys my little outro, I want to give y'all food for thought. You know, and there's some guys out there that will agree with this. There are sometimes, for some of us guys, might take us a little while to find them. But every once in a while, that's someone special that comes into our lives there's someone that'll come into our lives. Sometimes it's it's a friend. Sometimes it's a wonderful woman, and they'll however it works in your life. In my case, it was a beautiful woman that came into my life. I'm a free spirit, okay? A free spirit, a free thinker. I do I do what I want in life. I find a way to make my dreams come true. But let me say right now, sometimes for some of us like that, someone will come into our life and captivate us in ways that people cannot imagine. That someone for me was a beautiful woman named Miranda that we all know lovingly as Princess Feyru. That woman captivated me, made me think, made me want to be more than I could have imagined. She pushed me to think beyond the stars. She pushed me to become, you know, a good husband, a wonderful friend. She pushed me to be so many things that many of you have come to enjoy and love, and even got me to act a character that may have some controversy behind it, but is beloved by so many. My wife is without question one of the most inspirational people that I have ever encountered. So, because of her, I am much more than I could have ever have imagined. With that now being said, as I close out the stream, for every last one of you out there, if no one has told any of you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.